This is your daily market recap for Wednesday, 1/5/2022. Let's go.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the trading agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the trading agent, and this is your daily market recap for Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. Let's start off in the Discord room and go through some conversational things that I would like to drop here. And I apologize if you're not interested in hearing this stuff and want to skip to the stocks. Just keep in mind they are in order for each stock in the link below in the description. You should know what the order is. Skip around if needed. But I think more people than not probably need to hear this, so I'm going to start it off at the beginning. And if you tune out, that's your problem. I want to start with the understanding of what people's purposes are and how things are going to run. I drop a Discord room where I talk about I store all the daily recaps, the back to basic videos for learning, some education stuff, Jesse Livermore volume price analysis, education. There's tons of resources here. But my ultimate goal here isn't to turn this into some pay-per service where I'm just dropping nuggets here and you pay me for it. It's honestly to teach you how to trade. And if you don't know how to trade or even think you do, your bank account is going to be the mirror. If you have been successful in trading, then your account balance should show such, and if not, then you probably need some help. And again, people make mistakes in trading. Things happen. Ultimately, it's how you better yourself, and that's what we're here for and what I'm trying to create. So on that note, again, if you're not a member of the Discord room or a subscriber, just be aware. The ideas and the thoughts and the processes change from day to day. Like a couple days ago, Tesla was a screaming buy. Today, I posted a video on why it was a short. If you don't follow up with everything that's going on, don't be surprised if you miss out on something, because the markets are volatile and perspectives change. Now, again, if it's a long-term hold and you buy at the low, maybe you don't need to pay attention. But say, months ago we talked about roadblocks and hit certain prices and failed, and it hit Tesla, hit certain levels and failed. Tesla was a buy of the trend break and then hit resistance and failed today. My point being is the markets are changing, and if you are ultimately looking to invest to make money and not be a buy and hold sucker, when I mean sucker, it's like somebody who just buys something without thinking, and then if it's wrong, they lose a bunch of money. If they get lucky and they're right, they ultimately give it back because they never sell any. Those are the people I'm trying to talk to and warn, because, again, if you've never seen a bear market, which you will see one, again, they happen every 10 years, you will see markets collapse, gains lost, trades and ideas that you thought were no-brainers turn into oh-shitters. So, on that note, let's get into the charts. Bitcoin, oh man, I honestly thought we were going to hold. And again, so here's me being right versus wrong, but also knowing my levels. And this is the kind of stuff that matters. And we said this with Bitcoin. We said, watch now, the levels are starting to form. There's these red lines are now support and resistance. You can see, like, say up here, this is resistance. You hit it 3 times. Here's support. You can see it. And resistance. Every time it hit up on it, it failed. Well, we had a support resistance zone. Sorry, I'm extending the lines as we speak. Right here. And it's in the 46, 100 to 45, 500. Well, guess what? We broke it. And so here's the thing. If you trade long enough, you realize, like, you're going to be wrong. I'm going to be wrong. Everybody's wrong. It's a casino game. It's built on it. It was made in the bucket shops in Chicago and New York. And most people don't understand where stock trading started. But anyway, let's not get into that. If you bought near the lows and you were wrong, you lost just a little bit. That is the key. Ultimately, winners will take care of themselves, but you have to strategize how to minimize your losses. This is a loss. This is wrong. This is me wrong. This is anyone who bought up here wrong. Well, of course the volume broke and you blew out. And again, volume price analysis, that's what it confirms here, is that everybody bought here was wrong, and the volume confirms it. Now let's think about what the future is then at this point, because we obviously know the past. It failed. What are you looking for next? A long wick and maybe a retest of the lows. Now again, this low, keep in mind, high volume highs and high volume lows love to retest. Well, why? Because they're the main points of emotion in a trade. It's that simple. And what are we doing? We're retesting. I mean, again, if you don't think trading's as simple and you want to make it harder, go right ahead. I mean, again, when I say retesting like perfectly, it's hard to say. I always tell people, like, if you're expecting a stock to retest to an exact penny or exact figure, then sometimes it goes a little below it, sometimes it goes a little above it, sometimes it gets right near it. Like, exactness, this isn't, this isn't in the game of exactness with a ruler. It's horseshoes and hand grenades. Just be close. Now you have a nice retest. So if you had an alert and you're trading Bitcoin, you stopped out here, say you stopped and lost, whatever X amount, you're out. Now you're looking at it here and you're going, now I can buy, versus if you bought up here and you held it all the way down, you're nervous and you're over leveraged and you're not sure what to do. And guess what? Now you can buy it down here. So, man, this is going to be a long video, but there's a lot of stuff going on. And if you're not watching all these videos to the completion, you're missing out on all the nuggets, because we even foretold what was going to happen in the market. Like, it seemed very obvious it was going to drop. The TLT, and here's something that, if you watch the previous videos, what did we say? I did not see this big red down candle coming. I did not see that. I thought we would pop and chop. And again, most time I'm not really trading the TLT, but what do I say? As long as interest rates stay anchored in a range, the market doesn't give a shit. Well, look what happened yesterday. Doji. Again, if you don't know what a doji is, back to basics video explains it. It's a candle with a long wick on both sides and open and closes near the same price. Like, it closed at 143.36, but had a 35-cent upside and a almost 60-cent downside, but closed exactly where it opened. That's an indecision candle. What happened today? You had the ranges, 2-day ranges. This is the kind of shit where, if you understand trading, you go long if it gets over the 2-day range, and you go short if it goes below it. And now you have very binary, easy decisions. Again, I'm not trading the TLT, but it's going to make a difference. If I see the TLT make new lows, it's probably going to 141.70. We filled this gap. We're testing the 50% fib. Keep it really effing simple. Interest rates going higher means this goes lower. Again, TLT is an inverse relationship to bonds. Keep that in mind. Interest rates will be going lower if this goes higher. Just keep it on at 2-day ranges. They are awesome to trade, because once you identify them at 2-day range, you can go with it. I mean, here's an example of let's get some 2-day ranges going. That's not really a 2-day. You like to see them equal. And again, they don't always pop up. They're not very obvious all the time. Yeah, you don't see them all the time on the TLT. You'll see them. I'll find one when we're going to the next charts, and we'll pull one out. But a 2-day range is important, especially when it has equal highs and equal lows. The dollar, what did we talk about? I thought this was bearish. It took time. Chop. I said this was interesting, but then we followed up again. A doji, indecision. In it, is it trending down? Well, we're back in the channel, this long-term channel. Couldn't get over the 20-day today. It's here we go. You need more information. I'd love to say the dollar is going to get slapped and go lower, but we're in this chop. But this is a doji left-right combo potentially. You see dojis at highs and lows before changing direction. Doji, indecision, small candle, doji. You see this? I mean, again, if you don't know what a doji is, please watch the video on it. Google it. It's the most important signal out there, because think of a day of trading goes by and it opens and closes at the same price. That's a lot of hours of just chopping around just to end at the same price. It tells you, like, the buyers and the sellers are at equilibrium. Something's got to give. So the VIX, man, I hope people, again, watch the videos. I hate to say this over and over and over again. He said after coming down hard, all of this chop, hit the 200-day, just be aware. Were we going to go right back to the lows? It was possible, but what did we say? At the 16 level, purely directional trades, but also be aware, or fair risk, but also be aware, like, again, anytime you see straight line moves in one direction, be ready for the counter move. Like, the market just doesn't go in one direction always. And anyone who believes such probably believes in the Tooth Fairy and probably believes in Santa Claus and they're 35. That's just how it is. We saw this little gap up and chop. Again, I didn't really say like I was shorting the market, but if you notice, I wasn't really buying anything recently. I was looking for more of a short through Tesla. I was looking more through, like, all right, let's just wait and see. The only things I'm buying are commodities. Guess what? They got slapped down today, but at least I'm buying them off the lows, and we'll get into those here shortly. And so here's where the rubber meets the road on the SPY. All of this chop, you needed more information. Well, now the short was on. Like, you could have taken the short, say, below 475. Or if you were really bold, I guess not even bold. I mean, it's not crazy to swing short it up here at 480, near 480. I mean, that was a reasonable trade, especially if you saw the action looking like it was tired. Because ultimately, at some point, maybe this just is a 3-day drop. Maybe it's just some chop. The seasonality is bullish, but I always tell people the seasonality is like the weather. I mean, it's not certain, it's not guaranteed. So at this point, you're at the 20-day and the 50-day. I mean, the market went from 450 to 480. Do the math on that. I mean, that's almost like 6-7%. It's due to pull back 1, 2, 3, 4%. That would be normal. This candle is pretty ugly, pretty big on higher volume. If you were trying to buy the lows, I would tell you, ten cuidado, be careful. I think there is a dip to be bought down here. I just don't, again, today doesn't tell me anything other than big red candle, so you probably get some follow through. But does it turn into a big red like this? Just watch the lows. Like, that's going to be the real key here. Really watch the lows. So, anyway, hold on. All right, we're back. SPY. Let's move on, because I think at this point we're beating a dead horse. 20-day, 50-day, watch it in this area. It did sell off. It was overbought short term going from here to here. Remember, chop precedes drop. Chop precedes drop. Chop precedes drop. Let's see what happens next. QQQ. This is the one that I clearly pointed out to everybody. Like, this one has made me the most nervous and looked the least bullish. Why? Did not make a new high. It's that simple. We got up there, backed off. Yesterday's action wasn't that great either. Look at what happened. You made a lower low and closed, hit the 50-day, and then you melted through it just like butter. Short term, again, 100-day. Short term, again, 380 area. If it does break, this is the contingencies you have to have in your mind. Like, where is it going next? I think the 200-day and this gap fill in blue would be your first downside projection. I would keep it that simple, but also let's keep in touch. Like, where's the VIX at? What is the bond market doing? There's a lot of things that help you see where the market's going when things are bottoming. It's not just as simple as one chart. The market is a snapshot of everything, and ultimately, could this be just a one-day thing? I don't know. Could it just? There's a lot of different things going on, but ultimately, if you shorted up here, you're good. I closed my Tesla short because it was meant to be a day trade kind of scalp, and when you make 50 points, you take it and you run. I don't even think twice about it. Could have gone lower, yeah, but I didn't really have enough shares, and we'll get that in Tesla in a second. This is annoying. Gold. I genuinely feel everybody's pain because I've been trading gold for a long time, and it just seems to always be getting played games with. Central banks have the ability to manipulate the paper markets. I'm not a big fan of this formation because we filled the gap and then closed at the lows. It just means potentially we have more chop, but it is a lower high, so you have to, again, know your risk tolerance, your pain thresholds, just everything about everything with this trade. I mean, that's what you need to know. Like, if you're just hoping it doesn't drop, I hope it does too, but if it does, have a contingency plan. Silver, man, what a POS action. I hate that. But again, I like 21 area. 20 days curling up. In my mind, it should be up here, but this is where it's at. That's the market. Sometimes we're wrong. Again, if you don't have humility in trading, then you're going to get humiliated. The GDX, I did not like the 50-day touch. I think Swing Jam was talking about it. Again, this candle and this bar and this action is not ideal. Could it come right back down to 30.15? You bet your ass. Could it be consolidation? Again, lower high, 50-day. The real truth is, again, have a plan. If you're wrong, don't get stuck. GDXJ, all this, we're going through mine. It's all going to look the same. In the 100-day, backed off. Does it get back down to 30 or 40? Don't be surprised. It's just, is what it is. The miners, metals, it all looks good until it doesn't. Again, I did a video on it thinking it was going to go higher yesterday, and look, again, I'm wrong. But ultimately, if you're in near the lower end of range, you feel comfortable, but have a plan. AG, again, 1055 area, it needs to hold here. Could it fill the gap here at 1034? Abso-freaking-lutely. Keep that in mind. KL, this one's been holding up pretty well, just in general. However, made a higher high. It's not making a lower low. Seems okay. I would just, again, choppy action. I mean, it's just, I'm amazed that people aren't used to this action because I've seen it my whole career, but this is what happens sometimes. It just chops, and market's real good at confusing people. And at this point, mark me down as confused why the miners were down today. I mean, what is it, margin calls? The market's overowned? Get the freak out of here. Markets and metals are not overowned. PAAS, this is ugly again. 20-day should have been your key. Noted. Drop right back to support. Volume isn't great, but again, you just hate to see the pop to the 100-day and back off. I mean, it's just not ideal. Keep it in mind. I will say, but we got some good things coming too that, again, I like X. We've talked about it. Broke out. I'm not a big fan of this wick, but again, the market does what it's going to do. I mean, if the market starts tanking a little bit, X came down. But again, if you overlaid the SPY and X, I mean, X is outperforming. That's what you want to see. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. Bought a little more VALE today. It looked like it was going today. Man, but instead it dojied. And you know what? On a day where the market was down a bunch, doji isn't a big deal. Indecision on a day where the market's down decent amount, that's a win. Keep in mind, everything is relative. I like it here. Worst case scenario seems to be 1340. 1360, 1340, what's the damn difference long run, especially if it's a swing trade? That's how I look at it. I expect higher prices, and when I say higher prices, I mean much higher prices. Like, yeah, risk is worth the reward. Oh, hey, cat. Let's jump into tech, because this has always been the bugaboo in the room, and when people watch these videos, if they even get this far, they need to start realizing why I'm not a fan of tech long term. You've got some time it needs to consolidate out. Upper trend line, very clear. Head and shoulders top. Broke the 50 and 20 day. I don't know why you wouldn't get back down in the 130 area. Again, as we paint the picture through why tech is lagging, notice that tech is lagging. Like, put U.S. steel over this chart. They're literally the opposite. And in this market, relative performance is showing you what's leading and what's going up. So I hope you're watching that stuff. I mean, don't bury your head and say, well, AMD is acting great. And it's like, no, it's not. It's actually not. It's acting, it's lagging. You own a laggard if you own it. And again, long term, I don't know where it's going in the sense of how high or low, but I wouldn't own them. I absolutely wouldn't own it. Apple, this looks, again, watch the previous videos. When you get into a range, you need to break above it. You made a higher high, but this action just invalidates it all because that new high was taken out in 2 days back down to, below the breakout. Like, I wanted to see it go higher for my Apple friends because I still think ultimately Apple does get up to this monthly channel high, but what if it doesn't? That's the thing about probabilities, is that we're not flipping coins for certainty. We're flipping coins for potentialities. So this is interesting. MicroStrategy, again, we've talked about this one a bazillion times and said if it can't hold here, you got problems. Well, it didn't hold here, and now what do we say? Watch for the gap fill, watch for the 500 range. If Bitcoin bottoms tonight and then starts to rally back, I think you're at a good point. I think that area in the 500, here you go. That might be the meal ticket for you. So I just keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Here's a stock I got stopped out of today. And you know what? I'm okay taking that loss. I got out at 97. I could have gotten out probably at 95. But I didn't like how, again, the 20-day, you hit it, you backed off, and you gapped down. When you gap down, after hitting resistance, it usually goes lower. And guess what? We're back near the lows. Now people are asking, a client was like, well, what do you think, is the stock done if it goes below the IPO price? No, not necessarily. What happens is sometimes after an IPO, a stock goes below it. And the key is just to watch what happens. There's no guarantee that this thing is done going down or up. But long term, there's no guarantee that just because it goes below the IPO price means it's dead. Because if you go look at Facebook when it IPO'd, man, and many moons ago, we'll go look at the weekly. Here's your example, my friend. Let's go back to the beginning of time. This is the Facebook IPO. I mean, look at that thing. I mean, it IPO'd at 43 and got absolutely shit canned down into the double digits, like teens. Became a teenager real quick. It did the reverse of it did, what do you call that? Oh, that movie. The guy gets younger as time goes by. But that's happened sometimes, and I've seen that. So there's an example of, something going down below its IPO price and potentially could come back. Again, I don't know for sure. But let's jump into Tesla, because this is a trade today that my man Mike was interested in, and he pointed out something very obvious to him but not to me when I said, in the previous video I said, break the trend line, it's donkey bull pop. Well, it was for one day, and other videos I explained why I changed my mind, but I said watch this range, and if it fails, you're gone. And so what we ended up doing today was the test of the low end of the range. I shorted it. I did half of my position because I also thought it could always get up to 1190. Well, it didn't. It literally got up to that spot. I mean, you can see it went. So I only got half of my position. I would like to have gotten more, but that's trading. You woulda, shoulda, coulda. I took my 50 points. I'm out. I mean, now that I look back at it, I'm a little disappointed. I only had 50 shares. Again, I didn't leave myself a lot of trading lots. I like to usually do bits and pieces, but I need more than a bit. I need pieces. I need bits and pieces. Didn't get it. Stock drop. Nice trade. Made back for me being wrong when I shorted on Monday. Wednesday was the key. Look what happened. We're all good. If you have questions, again, stop by the Discord room, man. If you're trying to actually learn, I'll help you. But if you're just there for easy answers and coffee, don't show up. It's just, trading's hard, man. And there's a lot to talk about. Roblox, I mean, I've, again, watched these videos. I say the same thing, like, leave it the fuck alone. I'm not a bear long term. I actually think it's bullish. I like it. I mean, every kid I know is freaking using it. And they're going to be attached to this thing for 20 years, probably feeding at money like a casino. Broke the downtrend, hit the 2 times range, failed. Now you're back in the zones that I like. I think this blue box becomes a viable point. But don't be surprised if it goes lower. But if you think, again, now this is the difference between swing trading and day trading. And here, Mike Walsh, here's a good example. Like, if pretend this is Tesla, now you want to start buying. And if you're wrong, it goes a little lower, have a stop. But I just hate chasing up moves because ultimately there are reverberations back and you can really get hurt. Like, I've seen a lot of folks buy something when everything looks great, and then things change, the markets change, and they get blown out. And unfortunately, if you're thinking of like a long-term swing trade, it hurts because you hold it for a long time and then it ends up being just a big loss, and that sucks. And it happens. Trust me. Everyone on the Discord room, even myself, we have all been taken advantage of and just made mistakes. PENN, I got stopped out of this today. Stops did its job. I personally stopped out at like 48, I think 50 or something. I didn't like the way it was acting. I was looking at the market and said, I just don't like this. Like, we need to start making higher highs, and then you had a higher low and a lower low, a lower high and a lower low, and then today's action was like, I'm gone. If it knocked me out, and good, because it was great. I moved into VALE, and then I bought some of this and some of that. Where is my friend EXPI? Boom. Again, I'm probably early. There's a video on this. Again, if you know me, I'm usually early because I like to get in before the bottom, because sometimes the bottoms can be kind of wild, and if I miss that price zone, it bothers me that I'm not near the bottom because I don't like chasing. Personality wise, I like this. I think there's a buy in here with a tight stop. Now again, limit your risk reward, know what your downside is, but man, if you think real estate is not going to do well in the spring and the fall, I got another story for you. I mean, could I be wrong and rates go higher and the government fucks everything up and we have a total market meltdown? Absolutely. But you know what guarantees that you don't get your ass handed to you? Stops. Put in a stop, buy it at whatever price, and put in a stop if you're wrong. I like the risk reward because, again, could EXP get back into the 90s? Absolutely, at some point. This is not a bad time for a swing or a day trade, or swing or many days of trading. Let's call it that. UTHR, where are you? Again, I don't use this computer all the time. This is my video taping computer. This mofo, wow. I mean, it really got up there, and then it just totally barfed. And I drew this down here because I'm like, well, I guess it's coming back to the low end of range. I repeat, stocks that have low liquidity can get moved around both ways, big and small. I mean, it's trading 487,000 shares. That's not a lot. When you think about the market cap of, or the trading shares, the number on like Apple, Tesla, all these days, I mean, they're millions, hundreds of millions of shares. This is not a lot. What happens? Fail. French, I feel for you. Hopefully you took a little off and now you can buy the dip. If not, I still think you're in a long-term consolidation pattern. Oh man, I had it all drawn on here. It didn't save. Boo, Fangu. Yeah. Chop, chop, up, chop, chop, chop. Now you've got like this consolidation pattern. I still think it's good. It just, again, what I think ultimately doesn't matter. That's what I tell people. I can, you know, no one here can predict the future with 100% clarity. I do like it on a dip. I wanted it to break out because I actually would have bought the breakout. If you had a breakout with volume, this guy would have been buying it without a doubt. But we didn't have the volume and we didn't have the breakout. So guess what? There's no buy. I mean, that's just the reality of it, sadly. XOP, this is an interesting situation because what do we talk about? Break the downtrend, it back tested it. You made a higher high, and again, what do you have? A 2-day range. Here we go. If it gets below here, it should go lower. If it gets above it should go higher. That's just how it is. That simple. Let's end it on the classic ending of Exxon Mobil. We talked about this breaking the channel. Look at that. Remember breaking levels with volume? I just talked about UTHR, trend lines, whatever. That's a break with volume, and look what happened. You had continuation, 60 to 60. Wow, it got up to 67 and change. That's a big move for Exxon, 10% in 3 days. Exxon's a big dog. Yeah, on that note, I hope this kind of stuff helps. And again, please subscribe. I mean, I'm not going to be able to answer every question every minute, but I got friends who are helping out. This board's goal is not to sell you on some hopium and bullshit process where trading is easy. It's actually to make you realize, like anything in life, to be good at it, you have to put in the effort. You don't get to the NBA by just buying a basketball. You don't become great at anything without a lot of hard work, discipline, and understanding of it. So I hope people appreciate that and can see where we're going with this. So on that note, I will see you guys later. And go.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.